And we're live.
Hello, everybody. One thing I thought we would chat about today is a topic we talk about often with our clients. And I always hope to have this conversation before it's too late. And not that, you know, it's the end of the world if you're not progressing your strength exercises, but I always say if you're putting in the time, effort, and energy, like let's make sure we're doing all the right things. Because your time is valuable. So, and when we think about like, oh, we could have been progressing, there's like that opportunity cost that you may be missing, right? If you're not um, making the appropriate progressions. So, yeah, I think to start,
Do you feel like
um,
do you feel like everyone knows what opportunity cost is? Do you want to just expand on that a tiny bit?
so yeah, in terms of weightlifting, and I guess what I mean by it with in terms of strength progressions is if you're if you let's just use the example of someone's been doing a strength routine uh, on their own. They have like a small collection of weights at home, and that's what they've been using. They've been putting in the time and everything doing it. Um, I always like to think about like there's one, let's say this is what they've been doing. They're at home strength routine for the last year. Had they had proper progressions throughout that last year, they could be at a significantly higher level of strength and volume of strength, and
Ability.
their recovery is better, their durability is better. They're not, maybe they wouldn't have gotten that niggle that made them take a week off. There's like all these things that can kind of like stack to improve performance. And so, yeah, I guess that's what I mean. There's the opportunity that it could be better than it is.
Mhm.
Um, and
Almost
I
like
think,
if you don't progress, you could like when you could have progressed. If you don't, you're almost wasting your time by not progressing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a, you're falling behind, but you don't know you're falling behind because you don't have the perspective of what it could have been. Um, so I
Which
think
is like
that's
so
the,
common. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I think that's exactly it too. Is like you don't know how you could feel because you're not maybe doing that. Um, but I would say this conversation often starts when people first reach out to us, because I'd say the most common client that reaches out to us is like they've had an injury and maybe they have worked through it for a little while, and it's maybe either a stubborn injury or they've tried X, Y, and Z, or that maybe they've tried nothing, but it's just been there for a while. So this is definitely a common theme, but I think it's, even though it's like I just used the example of people initially reaching out to us with a current, an original injury. I think it always applies, which is kind of cool. So for this group here, all of our people on open enrollment, I think you could find that maybe like you, when you initially got over your rehab or started on some regular strength training, maybe you started to apply some of these principles. And I think it's like extra exciting to have this conversation today because it's like maybe it's like a check, right? Have you fallen back into some of that? Even, but maybe at a higher level now, right?
Yeah,
So
that
it doesn't,
happens a lot.
yeah. And I think that's actually one point I wanted to make is um, like we are big fans and advocates of strength training. I think it's like it's always going to be helpful for you to be stronger.
And
And
you
I
can
think,
always get stronger.
and you can always get stronger. Yeah. There's like, there's never a point where you're just done. And it's fine if that's what you choose, but like we're never going to choose that for you. Um, yeah, but there's actually a PT in the field of well, she does research and she does some con ed in actually the geriatric and pregnancy and postpartum space, and she always says, "Tell me a time where you went through something hard in your life and you said, I wish I was weaker for that.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, like you're never going, her like kind of like quote that she often, uh, says is, postpartum is hard, postpartum week is harder. So it's like, the strength for something might not be maybe like your priority, like keeping up with strength. But if it is, you're probably going to cope with a lot of things down the road a whole lot better.
Do you feel like you could reword, rephrase her saying for to be applicable to just like runners in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it would be like a pretty like just copying what she's saying and making it applicable to runners. But yeah, um, like navigating an injury is hard. Navigating an injury while you're weak is harder,
Mm. Yeah, or
right?
like not even necessarily an injury, but like a new pain. I guess yeah, my
Yeah.
thought was going towards like just an ultra or marathon. It's like
Mm,
completing a marathon, completing an ultra is already hard. Doing
yes,
it
actually, that's great.
weak doing it weak is even harder. So
Absolutely.
why not get stronger?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I don't know if you had another thought on the tip of your tongue, but I feel like it could be maybe helpful to summarize just like what you feel like the problem is that we're kind of talking about right now. Just like a summary of that before we dig into it
Yeah.
more.
So when we think about, I guess the topic that we were kind of thinking about for today is, how do you know you're ready to progress your exercises? Um, I would say the the question that is, I guess, the topic is also don't wait so long that you feel like you're ready to progress your exercises. And the reason that this we're even like talking about this is because it is so hard to know. Um, it's so hard to know. Like you never, if you're waiting until you feel ready, you've already waited too long. Um, and so yeah, there's a few other kind of like things we can dive into in terms of like strength programming, that will like I think help paint more clear of a picture. But
I feel
yeah,
like
that I would say that's mostly it, is like oftentimes what we see is we see people that have been doing a program for a while, and maybe they're mixing it up a little bit, maybe they're increasing by 5 pounds with their exercise, but like generally, relatively, they've been doing like more or less kind of like the same.
would you agree with this? This is something I've like told people a lot, very much as like a general statement, but if your program if as someone's PT, I'm always going to be able to recognize when something's starting to get easier for you than you are yourself.
Yeah.
So, like, I usually would tell people, like, if this starts feeling like you could do more, you could have done more probably significantly earlier, and, like,
Mhm.
we could have, like, worked through that earlier and, like, just helped you continue to, make quicker progress. I feel like that maybe is one of your points that you were gonna say. I didn't mean to jump ahead to that, but
Yeah, no, I feel like we've kind of already said that a little bit anyway,
yeah.
but I think it's also I feel like now would be a good time to talk a little bit about like kind of seasons of, like I guess
Mm,
priorities,
I
right? And
love
like
that.
within the year, there's like seasons of life, but there's also seasons of like your priority with what your activity related goals are or what you tend to do for exercise. So it doesn't even have to be like, oh, I'm trying to get faster or like I have a race coming up. It doesn't have to be that at all. But I think it also can be like, I tend to be on my feet, whether it's walking, hiking, running more in the summer months, and I tend to ski more in the winter. Like that is a conversation I just had with someone this morning. That it can be really, I guess, important to just like kind of take this bird's eye view of what is typical for you, and then you can cater your strength to like match that and to like prepare your body for that. So I think that is like, and then if in that example of like more time on feet, more running and um, hiking, let's say, in the summer months, knowing that there's going to be less of that in the winter and more skiing and a variety of skiing, let's say, you're going to be like, there's an opportunity cost of not getting some like plyometrics and impact if you're not keeping some volume of that within your strength programming. Um, and so that would be something that would be important for that runner or person come next spring, summer to in the prior winter be prioritizing.
I give a
Um,
personal example.
absolutely.
So we had our second kiddo like 5 months ago in the fall. My running tanked. I was expecting that to happen. Just wasn't prioritizing it, which is fine. Like I was okay with that. Still not like super wanting slash able to like really prioritize it again. But I know come nice weather in the summer, I'm definitely going to want to be doing a lot more than I have been now. And I also the like level that we're talking about is not just ignoring that and not doing anything about it. The level is knowing that if that is something I think I'm going to want in the future, so a couple months down the road, I need to be motivated to do the things that are going to help me make that more likely to go well and not get injured when I'm ramping up quickly then now. So
Mm,
currently, one of the things I'm emphasizing is still trying to do a relative long run once a week. So like right now, I'm running 10 to 12 miles on Sundays. And then like 2 to 3 times during the week, I'm running like 20 minutes, which is like relatively little for me. Um, and that long run is hard for me right now because that is like most of my running all at once. But that's purposely
mhm,
trying to get that stimulus and keep my body used to being able to go out and like run into like significant fatigue. But also right now trying to layer in more strength training because I know that I need to do that if I want to be able to increase quicker come probably May. Um, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's like, um, I think, for the people like here that will have this recording being on open enrollment, that's something that's like really nice about having a conversation with the therapist you're working with about this, because you don't necessarily have to do that mental work of knowing when and what should I be doing and prioritizing. I mean, it can certainly be like you are participating in that conversation and like also staying ahead of things, but like that's kind of our job to help prep you there and remind you of these things too, because it's like um along with seasons and priorities, I think the conversation is like has to happen about like, okay, you don't want to prioritize strength right now. And we'll use Kelton your example. What's maybe the minimal effective dose that you can be doing so that you're still checking the box of getting it done and reaping the reward come longer, sunnier days and warmer weather. But you're also um not like having to spend a ton of time. It's like, I don't know, I find it's always like a little easier to motivate to get things done when it's like, okay, I know that this is the minimal that I'll need to do to like be chipping away at that goal. And like this is enough. That's fine.
Hmm.
Like
What would you
so
say that is like what's like generally your thoughts on minimal effective dose from a strength standpoint?
so this is where I think it's really dependent on like what's your history with strength training.
Hmm.
Um I would say like, yeah, you could probably get away with like 1 day a week of strength training, and maybe eh, I would definitely say 1 day a week of plyo too. So, like, I would just from a time standpoint, probably, like, program that the same or, um, if you're someone that wants to do, like, 2 shorter sessions, you could do.
Depends on goals too, obviously. Like in my
Yeah.
mind, it's like in my mind right now, it's like I should be to really I need to gain leg strength and power for what I feel like I'm naturally gonna wanna do come nice weather. And I think that I need to be working on that like at least 2 to 3 times a week. So in my mind, like once a week probably is the minimum effective dose. And but I'm also aware that like if it is once a week right now, it might be more like maintenance rather than like actually
Yes.
gaining. And so But I think that like maintenance for me right now would be the minimum effective dose. At least I'm not continuing to go
Right.
backwards in terms of my durability.
I guess that was how the lens that I understood your question was
Yeah,
for maintaining. But
totally.
for
And
improving, yeah, you definitely need to do more than once a week.
yeah. I mean, it
But
does.
I think how bad do you want to improve your leg strength for the running this summer?
Right, right. I I've always told people day a week is enough for maintenance, but then I always feel like I get stronger even off of like 1 day a week. I don't know if you've seen that. Like, I think it depends on like how much you're pushing yourself in that session, right? So,
Yeah, and stronger compared to like what was your history, like stronger from doing no days a week? Sure.
right. Yeah, 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 true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, there's so much nuance with it, which is the exact reason why we wanted to do these calls, right? It's like
yeah.
there's so many questions, topics, and things that people like talk about, and it's often a conversation that needs to happen and understanding like the why around it. Um,
And you
I
can't
did
do
make a
it and
couple,
you can't just do it in like if it's like a once a month session that you're also talking about like your run plan and
right,
a new pain. It's like you can't always do it all in 60 minutes. So
right. I think this is a little bit of a different topic, but I can't not say it when talking about this. Your strength training does not have to look like running. Um, so what I mean by that is,
strongly agree.
yeah, it doesn't have to be low weight and high reps. And that's like, I would hope that that is now like an old school thought. It's certainly one option, but it's absolutely not the best option if you don't need to do that. And I would say most people probably don't need to do that. Um, I think there's like an if you want to do that, sure, but then there's an opportunity cost and maybe not doing something else. So we're all about not choosing what to do for you, but giving you all the information you might need to help make like a fully informed decision. So if let's say you're deciding to become more regular with strength and make sure you're not getting stuck in a rut or a plateau, um, your effort level within your lifting sessions for your primary lifts. So I'm not talking about a clamshell or a glute med exercise. I'm talking about squats, hinging, deadlifting, pushing, pulling, those like big mover um, variations of exercises should, um, the emphasis on those should be, let's say you've checked the box with form and quality of movement. You're now maintaining that and jacking up the RPE, so the rate of perceived exertion, significantly above what feels like a moderate challenge, or you should feel like, as you gain experience and confidence and you've earned it with consistency, there's like you can, and I would say should be like getting fairly close to like fatigue. So we like to use that rate of perceived exertion has like a 10-point scale. Well, there's another one too that has more of like a 20-point scale, but for strength exercises, we like to use just a 0 to 10. Um, and I will often encourage people to be pushing like towards like a 7 or 8 out of 10 RPE on a pretty regular basis. This is where I think it depends a little bit on like, are you in like a build and like you're really focusing on your strength? You might be going a little more, a little higher, a little more often. If you're have an upcoming race and you've already kind of done a lot of heavy work, I would say that would be more appropriate of a time to keep the focus on the intensity slightly less, but like have the effort, or the intention be more like quick, fast, powerful, and you're going to be able to generate more. Uh, you're going to be able to complete the movement faster if it's a little bit lighter. So there's again a lot of nuance, but generally pushing people to work toward an RPE of 7 to 9 out of 10. How do you know that you're at a 7 to 9 out of 10? we like to use reps in reserve. So reps in reserve is basically like once you complete that set, let's say it's a set of 6, um, it would be an RPE of 7 if you, for example, had 3 reps left in the tank, meaning you could have done a set of 9 if you had to.
Guesstimate. Yeah.
Yeah. But the this is when you first start lifting at a higher RPE, this is pretty much a total guess until you have actually done a true 1 rep or 3 rep max test or
Yeah.
5 rep max,
I
but
I
I don't
feel like
often have people
a
do that.
100% of the time, if someone hasn't done that, they always surprise themselves at how much more they actually could have done. So until
Yes.
they do that, they really don't fully know what their RIR, reps in reserve, is.
Yeah.
Um, so it is like a learned skill, which is tough for someone who hasn't like been used to doing that before. So I feel like extra important to just emphasize like you don't always have to do this, but especially on days that you feel good, giving yourself the green light to just see how many more reps you could have done. It doesn't like if it was that example and you finish at 6 and you're like, I feel like I could do 3 more. Okay, do 7. Okay, feel like I could still do, at least 1 or 2 more. Do 8. I probably could still do 1 more. Do 9. Oh, I actually feel like I could do 1 more. Do 10. Oh my gosh, I feel like I could do even 1 more. Do 11. Okay, now I'm like pretty tired. Okay, maybe that was it. And really, what I thought was 3 reps in reserve was really 5 reps in reserve. And I'm
Mhm.
surprising myself at how much more I could do. But also, you don't have to keep pushing up if you're like nervous about that. If you're like doing it, if you're not sure that your form is like staying like relatively like decent while you're increasing like the fatigue, then you don't always have to keep pushing. And it's just like, oh wow, I could do 3 more reps. I definitely could have kept going, but I stopped at 9 just because I was a little worried that I was fatiguing more, right? Like we definitely obviously have thoughts around like perfect form and stuff not really always being necessary, but um,
We should add that to the list of one of
depends.
the upcoming topics.
Form.
Yeah, like why your form doesn't have to be perfect, but when you might want to like be emphasizing working on it versus um emphasizing on like pushing weight.
I love it.
Um yeah, I think that's honestly been one of my favorite parts about strength class is like real time getting to like see people just I think that's always been one of my favorite parts about this job is like maybe
Mm.
you're not introducing lifting, but like maybe someone hasn't been doing it lately and or they've never lifted with a barbell and you're just like introducing this like it's like opening this like whole nother level, like unlocking a whole nother level. And it's fun to see have people like test themselves and see what they can do and get kind of like excited and surprised by that. Um yeah,
It,
and it's like you
both
never know if you don't try, right?
both yeah, I'd say that's always been my favorite from a like exercise standpoint, is helping someone see that they could do a lot more with their body than they thought they could, from an exercise standpoint, but also like from a running standpoint too. And I think that that's also exactly why I feel like a lot of times people are surprised to know that we like co-founded the Back Cove Backyard Ultra,
Mm,
and but that's it's what very much makes us a different type of PT, is that we're encouraging people to push their body to new limits. And like,
yeah.
sure, you might like break down a little bit along the way, and like, that's okay. Like, we can recover from those things. But also, like, let's try to prepare our body as best as possible for, oh, maybe I am going to go run 40 miles when my longest prior was a marathon. But I'm just trying to run longer than a marathon today. And how, like, that happens to everybody at Backyard Ultra. They always run
Yeah.
way longer. And I feel like that is the most fun part of being like a more like performance PT.
Heck, maybe I'll do it.
That's a first.
Yeah.
You're heard it here live. We'll cut this video and put that part on Instagram.
No. I think I've already
No,
got a volunteer sign up.
I was gonna say you should do the role that I've been doing, and I can do it.
Sure. I'd do that.
Ooh, it probably would be a good summer for me to do it, where I like am probably not going to be like doing much else from a race standpoint.
I was just gonna say, you don't have anything else on the calendar,
Let's
Kelton.
do it. I mean, I don't want to take it away from you. It was your idea to do it first, and then I feel like I'm
I don't
stealing it from you.
actually wanna do it.
Okay. Well,
I would
then if
love to
you
do 1 or 2 laps, and that is, like,
you can do that while
that
you're directing.
exactly, complete
Yeah.
satisfaction from doing that, so
Ooh, my longest run ever is a 50K. But like, there's no way I could go do that and not at least run like 100K. Have to do at least 100K.
I mean, 100K is a long time and very hard, and just because everybody that does Back Cove Backyard Ultra is, like, a badass beast and
Doesn't mean
runs
I
a
am.
very long time doesn't mean that it's a given.
Yeah. I think my A goal would probably be 100 miles, to be honest. Like, and then a B goal would be 100K, and then the C goal would be 50 miles. Like, I'd have to do at least 50 miles. I'm getting
12
nervous.
mile weeks to a 100-mile week in
What did, what did you say?
100-mile day, 12-mile weeks to a 100-mile day in what, 4
If
months?
you seriously would do the like role that I've done, I would seriously do it.
Yeah,
I
I
would
think the
need
only logistic is, like, OC.
yeah, baby. What the heck? I could carry her with me for a couple laps. Push her. I could push her
Ooh.
the whole way. That would give me an excuse to drop out early.
I was just gonna say, I'm not sure if she would like to do this.
Yeah. All right, we're distracted. But
Alright.
now I'm like all nervous. I have like pre race nerves in my tummy.
I think you would do great. I
I
think it
don't
would be,
know.
like,
I
slow
don't
enough
know.
for you to, like, stay on top of the hydration
Yeah.
and fueling, which I think would be my only, like, question for you.
For skiing, so I've done 24 hours in this type of event for skiing at this last skier standing. I've done it 2 other years, and it was boredom that had me drop out the last time I did it a few years ago.
I
I
think skiing is a
dropped
little
out of
harder, though,
12.
to, like, stick with someone.
Yes, but if I
And
was
it's, like,
truly
a
going
little
for
more
100,
effort to talk with
yeah,
someone if you're
you can't get away as easily skiing uphill. Like, if you, like, didn't wanna talk to somebody. Yeah, it was like I found myself in
No.
the same, like, small group of people every single time, and a couple of them were just, like, blabbing away the whole time, and it wasn't them, it was just me, like, not wanting to, like, take in all that, like, stimulus. Let's do it. I think, like, the ultimate big picture thing always is if we want our body to be able to handle more physical stress, we like to call it load. I feel like not everyone understands what load means, but like physical stress, time on
Mhm.
feet, time that our muscles are working, impact. If we want to handle more of that, we have to provide a stimulus, not too much, but not too little. We have to provide a stimulus that is going to be more than what we're currently doing in order to get
Mm.
adaptation. It's like a law of adaptation. It's like you don't adapt. Your body doesn't get stronger if it's not exposed to something that it hasn't done before.
Right.
So it's like you got to be open to doing something that you haven't done before. Maybe at one point you have, but like relatively recently, it's got to be exposed to something that you haven't done before. So if I want to run backyard ultra and I've only been running 10 and 12 miles, I gotta not a lot of time to be able to increase that exposure in a safe way. By safe,
Yeah.
by safe, I mean in a smart way that like isn't going to
Yeah.
lead to injury.
Right. Alright, let's get working.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a run right now.
Couch to Back Cove Backyard Ultra now. Just kidding.
Not couch. That would be
We'll call
hilarious
it
though.
bedside bassinet too.
Baby to Bat Cove.
Yeah.
Although I didn't have a baby,
No,
so
you didn't. It just happens to be the time that you took relatively off.
yeah, just
Yeah.
happened to be for whatever reason.
Yeah. It's not that she's been a terrible sleeper or anything.
Oh, this has been
Oh.
great. I haven't really talked to you for a while, so this has been good. I'll see you next month.
Alright.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. What's the topic next month?
Probably the forum thing. I feel like we should probably both
Okay.
just do the call too. I feel like
Yeah.
it's definitely nicer to talk to somebody than than nobody. But we're gonna stick with it. We're
Alright.
gonna keep doing these calls, so eventually
Yes, and we would
someone
love
will
it if
join.
somebody joined. Yeah.
Yeah, or posting topics beforehand. You didn't happen to check. I don't think anyone commented. No. Okay.
Especially anybody that I used to work with on open enrollment, would love it if you hopped on here, if
Me
you're
too.
happen to be watching this.
Me too.
Um, catch up, hear how you been. If you wanna chat anything specifics injury-wise, not wanting an injury to come back, any new aches, pains, niggles, we can yeah. I love,
Complain
I love
about Mike.
Q&A style.
I'm just kidding. Alrighty.